Think about it for a second. There's that one person in your life, it could be at work, at home, in your friend circle, and just their presence is enough to ruin your mood. One message from them and your whole day starts with tension. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the problem isn't just them? Maybe the problem is that you haven't learned how to handle them. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. There are 4 types of difficult people, and each one needs a completely different approach. And I'm going to share a simple framework with you that will completely change how you show up in difficult interactions. So stay with me, because this video isn't really about other people or difficult people, it is about you. There's a very popular model in behavioral and personality psychology called the DISC model. It basically categorizes people into 4 color types based on their behavior and communication style. And when these types show up in their extreme or unhealed form, that is when they become the difficult people who disrupt your life. Let's go through them one by one. Type 1. This is the aggressive one, red. This is the person who needs to be in control of everything, dominant, loud, and sometimes just downright rude. In any conversation, they position themselves always above you, literally and figuratively. They'll cut you off, dismiss your ideas, and if you try to push back, they'll only get more and more aggressive. At work, this is the boss who only sees their own vision. In personal life, this is a partner who always needs to win an argument, no matter what the truth is. Red energy is like a bulldozer. Just clear the path and move. Type 2. The loud and the overbearing one, the yellow. Now, yellow types are naturally the life of the party. But in their unhealed state, they become the source of drama. They're incredibly charismatic and likable, but you know what? Attention is their oxygen. This is the co-worker who presents your idea in a meeting as their own with so much confidence that nobody in the room even suspects a little thing. This is the friend who talks over you, steals your airtime, and then plays innocent. Yellow energy, think of yellow energy like a giant balloon. It slowly expands and fills up all the space. Type 3, the passive-aggressive one, the green. This is the trickiest type, because instead of fighting you openly, they hurt you quietly. Green types are natural peacekeepers, but when unhealed and extreme, they can't express their feelings directly. In fact, they give you the silent treatment, or they'll say, do whatever you want, in a tone that makes it very clear that nothing is fine. Or they leave late replies, put in half-hearted effort, or make a comment in front of everyone that's technically innocent, but lands like a knife. This is the partner who says, I'm okay, but is clearly not okay, and then expects you to read their mind. Green energy is like slow poison. It doesn't hurt all at once, but over time it really erodes everything. Now let's talk about type 4. Type 4 of difficult people, the overtly critical one, blue. Blue types are analytically gifted, but in their extreme form, they become the enemy of progress. This is the colleague who only sees problems in every idea, the person who cross-examines every single decision for an hour before agreeing to anything. They're incredibly hard on themselves too, and they expect the world to meet their impossibly high standards. Working with them is mentally exhausting, because every simple conversation turns into a debate. Blue energy is like a magnifying glass that only looks for cracks. It can never see the beauty of anything whole. Now the problem is that these people are costing you. By the way, you could also be one of these people. Let's be straight about this. How are these people actually impacting your life? Don't brush it off as just annoying. They're actually taking a lot from you. First of all, they're taking your mental energy. You're thinking about them even after you have left work, in the shower, right before you fall asleep. Why did they say that? What do they mean by that? What could I have said? What did I do wrong? And then your productivity. After a difficult interaction, you generally can't focus for 2 to 3 hours. And that one small meeting, it shadow sits on your entire day. And most importantly, your sense of self. After repeated interactions with these people, you start doubting yourself. Your confidence slowly erodes and you stop trusting your own gut. So this isn't just they're a difficult people, they're a difficult person situation. This is your peace, this is your potential and your self-worth, which is chipping away little by little every single day. So what's the actual goal here? It's simple. To learn how to handle them effectively without losing yourself in the process. Now this doesn't mean fighting. I'm not saying to fight with them. It doesn't mean running away either. It means you interact with them, but your internal state stays intact. No peace leakage. You come out of the conversation still grounded, still calm, and still clear. Now, the benefit of you understanding DISC is what you actually gain from this. When you learn to apply this framework, the DISC framework, something beautiful happens. First, your autonomy strengthens. No one, and I mean no one, gets to put emotional pressure on you anymore. You respond on your own terms, you don't just react. Second, the relationship stays intact. You don't need to blow things up or burn bridges or walk away. You simply shift the dynamic, and often the other person adjusts too without even realizing it. And third is your relationship with yourself deepens. You get very clear on your boundaries and your values and what's important to you, what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. And that self-awareness, that's the biggest asset you will ever build. Now let me give you a few real examples of how these difficult people can show up at work. Example 1, the credit stealer at work, probably the yellow type. Imagine you and a co-worker are working on a project together. You come up with the idea, you did the research, put in the late nights, and then on the day of the presentation, the co-worker confidently presents everything as their own. Now the boss is impressed, but you're sitting there stunned out of your mind, and that's classic yellow behavior. They need attention, they need recognition, and they'll take it from wherever they can get it. Now, your first instinct is probably to freeze or to fume or both. But if you know the framework, if you know the DISC framework that I'm talking about, your response becomes calculated and not just reactive. Example 2, the difficult partner. This could probably be a green or a red type. You want to have a conversation with your partner, maybe about finances, the future, or just something that's been bothering you. And they either immediately get defensive and turn the whole thing into a fight, which is a very red behavior. Or they say, sure, whatever you want, and completely shut down, only to drop a sarcastic comment 3 days later. That's green behavior. In both cases, you feel helpless, like real communication is just impossible. And that is exactly the moment where this next framework comes in, the ball analogy. Now, I want you to think of difficult interactions like a game of catch. Someone is throwing a ball at you, and that ball could be a rude comment, a manipulation attempt, a silent treatment, an aggressive email for that matter. You have exactly 3 options. Option number 1, you catch the ball, meaning you absorb the comment, you let the moment pass and choose that this particular battle isn't worth fighting right now. And that is not weakness, as a lot of people might think. This is actually a very conscious choice. Sometimes, especially when the stakes are low or when someone is going through a genuinely hard time, and this isn't their usual behavior, catching the ball is the wisest thing to do. And you're emotionally mature enough to not react to everything, but only, this is a caveat, only do this when this is a true choice. If you're catching the ball because you're scared, because you don't think you deserve better, that's not peace. That is you betraying yourself, and nobody likes that. Option 2, throw the ball back. Engage and address that behavior directly. You throw it back, meaning you address it directly. You say, that's not okay, or I contributed to this presentation and I'd like to be acknowledged. This is confrontation, but a healthy confrontation. It's clear, it's calm, and no drama. Now, this approach works best when the relationship matters and the pattern keeps repeating. You're sending them a signal saying, I see what you're doing, and it won't work. Don't mistake this for aggression. This is simply standing up for yourself. This is simply showing that you have a spine. Option number 3, let the ball drop. Disengage. Do not respond. You let the ball drop right in front of you. You don't catch it. You don't throw it back. You just don't engage. A passive-aggressive comment, you smile, you change the subject. A manipulative message designed to make you feel guilty, well, you read it, acknowledge it internally, and don't reply. Or give a simple neutral acknowledgement with zero emotional charge. This option is the most powerful of all because most difficult people thrive on your reaction. Take away the reaction and their game falls apart. Now the key is to choose consciously. All of these 3 options are available to you at all times. The problem is most of us automatically catch by default, even when it's hurting you, or automatically throw it back by default, even when it escalates things. And sometimes we just freeze, doing neither. Now, this analogy gives you a conscious choice. In every difficult interaction, pause for just 1 second and ask, what do I want to do with this ball? And then choose. You don't choose reactively, but you choose intentionally. So there you have it. 4 types of difficult people and a simple but powerful framework to handle all of them without losing your peace in the process. I need you to remember this. This isn't about changing them. You can't change anyone. It's about changing your response, and that is entirely in your hands. Stay rooted. Nobody can take your peace unless you give them permission. Now, if this video was helpful, share it with someone who's dealing with a difficult person right now. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.